Fumie, I want to thank you for taking the time to come here this morning to do this podcast.
No,
I really
of course,
appreciate it.
no. I'm very proud of myself being invited here.
That makes me so happy. I always see you on Facebook feeds. You go someplace, it seems like every hour you're in a different place. Not every day, every hour you're somewhere. Beautiful restaurants I've seen you at. I see you in different areas of Japan. It's always in Japan that I basically see. No, you travel all over.
Well, actually, I did before COVID, but because my son was studying in the States, and I would go to parents' weekend and things such like that, or spend spring holidays in Europe and things. But then, for these 2 years, no,
Hasn't it been boring? It's been kind of boring. But at least you get to find out more about this country.
Well, not really actually, because I've only been to my country house in Karizawa.
Right.
So, not much.
We haven't traveled hardly anywhere because we've been in state of emergency for so long.
Yes, it was really. It's just Karizawa, back and forth, Minatoku.
That's right. Tell me, where were you born, Fumie?
Tokyo.
Tokyo. Where in Tokyo?
Minatoku, really.
Oh, you're born in this area?
Yes, it's the hospital is called Sanno Hospital, which is Sanno.
Sanno.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
That's the hospital you were born at.
Yes.
Are you the only child in your family, or do you have siblings?
I have a brother,
How many years?
younger brother.
Okay.
And now he works for Temasek, which is a Singapore fund company. He's been in the finance industry for all these years.
For a long time.
For a long time, yeah. When people even didn't know back then in 1990s, early 1990s, Japanese people didn't know what Goldman Sachs was.
Right, exactly.
So people would say like Gold Sachsman, which was a bit wrong.
Right.
But then, after that, he's always been on.
How many years difference between you and your brother?
4 years.
Are you guys really close? Nakiyoshi?
We are Nakayoshi. Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. No, so your mother and father, how are your mother and father doing? Are they okay?
Well, my father passed away 18, 19 years ago.
Okay. And your mother?
She's well.
She's doing well?
She's doing well, yes.
All right. Because you live right next door to this club.
Yes.
Okay. But not with you. Your mother doesn't live with you, does she?
She lives close at Atago Mori Building,
All
Atago Forest Hills, yes.
Right. So you grew up in Japan the whole time? Did you stay in Japan all the time while you were a youth?
No, I flew over to Paris when I was 5 and went to elementary schools in Paris and afterwards to London. So,
how was that? What kind of work did your mother or father do?
My father was working for a bearing company, the machine bearings.
Oh, bearings, yes. Okay.
And I think back then they were making their first branch.
It was a Japanese company?
It's a Japanese company.
Okay.
NSK, it's a Japanese
company. NSK, wow.
Yes.
So he traveled to Paris and he stayed there for what?
4 years, and then we had to go right up to London another 4 years.
Okay. All with the same company?
Yes.
All right. So did you learn to speak any French, or did they keep you in the Japanese community there, or the American?
No, my mother just let me go to school just nearby, which was really local. Started for a local kindergarten, so there were non-Asians there. So I just started there, so I had to speak French. And when I got used to it, then I had to go to London and start from the beginning again to
make
English.
French.
Yes, English.
Right.
So I was speaking French, English, and at home Japanese.
Okay. Did your mother also pick up French while she was in France?
Oh yes,
father
yes,
had
she
to-
was quite good actually.
Okay. Oh, okay. So then after that, what happened? So you went from France to England, and how long did you stay in England?
About 4 years.
4
again,
years. Okay.
Yes.
So now you're about 8 years old, or not? Wait, 10?
Yes, until it was I think 12.
Okay, 12. And then where'd you go from there?
Oh, back to Japan.
Okay. So you came right back here to Tokyo.
Yes.
Then where'd you go to school in Tokyo?
Gakushuin. Because I entered Gakushuin kindergarten, and actually my grandfather kept on paying tuition so that I can come back to
Oh,
the
you
same
mean
school.
he paid all the time while you were gone?
Yes, yes.
To keep you in Gakushuin?
Yes, yes.
Wow, that's one of the best elementary. That's one of the best schools in Japan, right?
Yes,
Gakushuin.
that's where the royal family
That's
go
right,
to.
Gakushuin.
So, yes, and I'm classmates with Akishinonomiya.
Wow. So then, okay. So then, after that, after you finished the elementary school, then you went to junior high.
Well, all the way,
all the way
to Gakushuin,
to
yes,
college.
yes.
And what did you study when you got into college? What were your studies? What did you focus on?
Well,
Or your interest, should I say?
interest. I was just doing English literature because it was easier.
Okay.
I was having a bit of a party kind of life there, so I tried to minimize the time of studies, which was English literature was the easiest way to graduate.
Okay.
Right.
So wait, what was your father? Your father was still working with the ball bearings company, right?
Yeah, yes, he kept
company.
on. Yes.
Did he? How far did he go into it? Did he become like his position there?
I don't know much, but at the end he started a new company. And was doing kind of so. He changed his life a bit, but then he got cancer, so he passed away at the age of 68.
I see. That's kind of young. So tell me, so wait, your grandfather paid for you to. He continued to pay the tuition in Gakushuin.
Yes, maybe it was not full, but
But
something.
he made sure that you had a spot
Yes,
when you
right.
came back.
Yes.
Is it your
good.
mother's father?
No, my father's father.
Your father's father.
Yes.
So what did he do? What kind of work did he do?
Well, actually, he is a bit famous as a banker.
Okay.
Because he was the founder of Fuji Bank.
Okay.
So back then, Japanese people, banks were only for the rich, wealthy people, but he thought that everyone should have a bank account. So he changed a bank called Yasuda Bank, which was for the wealthy, but then expanded to Fuji Bank so that everybody could have a bank account. So he was the chairman of the bank association and vice of Keidanne, which is I don't know how you say it.
Keidanne, yes. Wow. So look, so he started Fuji Bank. He was the founder of it. So how long did he live? Until what age?
Well, I heard that he was at the bank until the age of 90.
90.
Because he loved working, so he kept on coming to the bank, which I don't know. But, as long as he could walk.
Yeah, the stuff he enjoyed doing. The founder of it, that's his baby. I always say this for men. Since we can't have children, the closest thing to it is when we build our own companies. We feel that we feel similar to the way women do about their children. We'd give anything to protect it. Right? So did your grandfather have lots of brothers or sisters? Did he come from a big family?
My grandfather had a sister. Yes.
Okay. What did his father do?
Oh.
Your great grandfather. Well, listen, if he's
I don't know actually.
Okay, but you understand what I'm saying. If he started Fuji Bank, he came from a pretty good background.
Well, actually, he was very intelligent, and he basically was from Shimane Prefecture, and the Iwasa family only had a daughter, and so when he married my grandmother,
he took the name.
The name, yes.
Oh, so that's not his name. Okay.
It's not his name actually. So that's how.
So maybe.
He just started from just a banker, like a usual one.
I got it. Okay, okay.
Just
So he didn't have the background. He
Yes.
basically, he did it.
Yes,
On his own.
Yes, on his own. Yes.
Because I was wondering, I was thinking that maybe he came from, the
No.
Lehigh, already came down,
No,
or it
he
could have
just started
he made
from
it on his own.
really on his own.
yeah, like Honda and some of these other people that have built huge companies, or Modi, where they didn't have the backing and they built it on their own.
Well, the bank, I think the Yasuda Bank, he was already working for Yasuda Bank, so I think it was, as his company, maybe, they made the bank.
So what was your life like growing up like that? When did you know there was a clear difference between you and most other Japanese?
Well, but Gakushuin was a school that everybody was someone's daughter
Of course.
or someone's
But
son.
when did it sink in? Because so you know that you could have been the princess, but there's a day when you come to recognize, now you understand. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I think that was when I started my career at Hakuhodo. When I entered Hakuhodo, it's the second largest advertising company. So when I started working, I gradually understood what's basically different from. I was raised up a bit different from others.
Right.
But
Were you treated different because of that too?
Yes, I did have some hard time too.
It was hard?
It was hard back then because I was the first year of how do you say koyo kintoho, which women and men can have the same job
right.
back then, because before that women were just
Serving tea,
serve tea
and greet people when they came in.
Take phones. That's
So what year?
So,
What year was that? What year was that?
1988.
That's right. So the bubble was about to burst.
Yes, it was already a bit. Yes,
people knew it was going to happen. Wow. And then that's when they were getting rid of a lot of middle management, and they're saying, okay, women, come on up. Because actually, when they said, what was it? When Japan had its downtime, it was actually uptime for women. Because that's when they got in the places where all these guys. That's right. When Japan had their downtime, women had their best time.
There were still some ladies that were not
doing the same work.
Not doing the same work. So it was very hard because I was doing real business. I was going out, but then the other senpai, which were older ladies, had to work for me, which was
very difficult.
Very difficult. So I basically had to prepare tea, coffee for everybody because they won't do it for me. And I would have to do all those copies because they would not do it for me. So I had to do all that and do my work as well.
So what about when you traveled and tried to negotiate? How did that go?
Sometimes tough because there were no words like power harassment or
but they did it every second.
Yes, so
like what? Give me an
people
example.
people would yell back then, and some people would say, "Oh, we don't want to work with women," and all that. So I had to go through everything.
Give me an example. Like sometimes you'd come into a meeting, you'd prepare everything. All the guys would sit down. You'd be the only woman. Did that ever happen? And then someone would say,
yeah, someone would say, "I'm not going to talk with her because she's a woman," or but some meetings were okay, but I just pretended that I didn't even realize that he or she, would ignore me or whatsoever. Just pretending that it's not happening. Just go on your way and do my way.
You never got up and just left?
No, I never did that.
You never did that? Okay. You just always said, okay, shogunai.
Yes, also shogunai.
You can think whatever you want. I have Hakuhodo behind me. I'm going to deliver what I'm supposed to deliver. You can take it or not. Where'd you get that kind of, I want to use Japanese, gamma. Where'd you get that from?
Because at the age of 5, I flew over to France, and my mother would just let me go to a kindergarten nearby, which I couldn't even speak French, and there were non-Asians. So I think
you didn't cry. You didn't cry. You don't remember crying?
I was crying every day, but but crying didn't solve anything. So maybe that's how I learned.
You realized? Would your mom would just drop you off, you're in the school, and she's gone?
Yes, she put in my pocket, like, I'd like to go to the toilet. And the other one, I'm thirsty. Just, one
so you knew which
on
one
your
was.
pocket.
You knew it was, so you'd pass.
And she goes like, okay, off you go. And when you want to go to the toilet, show this. And then when you're thirsty, show that. That's it.
She was strong. She made you strong.
I know.
What'd she do with her son? How'd she treat the son? He's 4 years younger, though, but how did she treat him? Because he missed some of that. Did he get London? He probably missed France.
Yes.
He was at home with her.
He was okay because, he started everything from scratch. He was a baby back then. So,
right.
So gradually, people were speaking French all around him. So he was okay because...
He already had it.
Yeah, because he was a baby and then gradually get used to...
But then he went to London.
Schooling.
What happened there? He didn't speak English yet.
Maybe he suffered there. Maybe it was tough for him there.
Okay.
But,
did you try to help him or anything?
No.
You said, if it's going to happen to me, you treated him the way the women treated you in the company. You looked and said, left pocket is this, right pocket is that. Is that right? But you knew your parents loved you?
Of course, yes.
You felt that. So when you came home from school, and you'd been crying all day and your eyes all swollen, what would your mother say to you when you came home? Do you remember how she'd act? What would you do?
No, she didn't do anything really. She was just cooking and... Well, she was a great cook, so she would cook great dinners, but she didn't advise me to do this and that or anything. Even when I had to do homework, she would just tell me that, it's going to be this movie on TV tonight, so let's watch it together. And I say, Mom, I have my homework, but she goes, forget it.
Well, how was your father? Whenever he had time, I know he's busy, but whenever he had time, what would he talk to you about? Would he ask you how school and?
He didn't care much about my school and things, but he was more into golf on his weekends. So, but he was a gentle, kind person. Not much talking because my mother kept on talking, so he didn't have the space to talk.
Really? So you just remember him being that type. But I guess most Japanese families, they say unless they live out in the country, aren't very touchy. So was your family touchy? Like, did he hug you a lot? Your mom ever?
Mom was, yes, but kind of touchy. I mean,
with the kids, right?
Yeah, so.
Okay, so you remember that, going to your mom and hugging her and stuff like that? Oh, that's good, that's good. When you left France, was that transition hard? Do you remember
Very hard. I think it was harder than when I flew over from Paris to London. It was easier, but coming back to Japan, although I could speak Japanese, it was very hard because it was hard to get back to my friends because they already had this community. But
you left when you were how old? You were 4, right?
Yes, but then I came back. But then I would go and ask a friend, "Can I join you?" And then they would go like, "I have to ask her, and her and her." So then I go, "Please ask her," and then the other girl said, "I have to ask her," and then her, and then time over, and again classes start. It was like that.
You never got to.
Yes, it was. So I really felt Japanese was so weird because they didn't have their own opinion, they didn't have their own ideas, and they just have to look at each other. What do we do with?
Wait, how old were you when this? No. How old were you then?
Yeah.
How old were you?
12, 13.
About 12 or 13.
Yes.
So when you came back, wow. So your hardest transition was actually coming back to Japan.
Yes, it was very hard. And then there was this ladies, idol group,
Mm-hmm.
Pink Lady or Candies and things.
Yes.
And so they would ask me, which do you like? And I actually didn't have no idea, but I thought I had to say something, so I said Pink Lady. And then you have to go to this group because this group love that, and that group is the other.
Mm-hmm.
So it was so weird. I could not understand why, if I like this, do I have to go to that group and not the other one?
Right. When you got out of college, what did you do? What kind of work did you end up doing? You Hakuhodo, you did that.
Yes, I was in the newspaper division, so Nikkei, Nihon Keizai Shimbun, and then Team A, it was Asahi newspaper, which was at the newspaper division. Team number 1 was Asahi Shimbun, Asahi newspaper, and so I did well at the Nikkei team.
What was your job?
Well, negotiating, making spaces, and
getting
pricing,
advertisements, stuff like that.
So it was like an anchor job because marketing would do their marketing presentation, and then they make the advertisement, and that's really the anchor. Was really a tough job.
How long did you do that?
I think I was there for almost 9 years.
Did you like the work?
It was very hard every day, but yes, I liked it. Well, it's very tough though.
Like when you got an ad, when you got somebody, and it was a really big ad, you go, yeah, would you go out and party that night?
Yeah, back then we would.
I think so.
Because on newspaper, there's only those pages that everybody wants is the last page or the front page or the center page and the 社会面だから
Don't they say this is the back? They want the back, inside, back, outside, front, outside, front, inside, and then the center.
The center, right?
Because of the first one, right?
But on October 1st or like April 1st, every company wants to have those pages, and even in Hakuhodo, I had several companies wanted to have the page, but then I go to the newspaper division, and then they have Dentsu, Tokyo agency, and everybody wanted to have the same page. So it was hard negotiation.
Who was going to give me the most?
Yes, right.
That was good. That would be interesting.
It was very
and
tough.
you ran the whole team basically. You were one of the anchors.
Yes, one of the anchors.
Of course.
Yes.
Wow. So you did that for 9 years. Then from there, where did you go?
Well, my mother didn't work at all, so she really didn't care about careers and things. But what she wanted was for me to have a happy marriage and have children, because she wanted to have grandchildren. And as she raised me, I thought maybe I should have a marriage and have children as well. So, but then working in Hakuhodo like night and day I didn't think that I could really have a family, because I would never be able to make dinner. I don't know how I would do with a child working late at night. So I quit my job and then went to culinary school so that I could do like a bit of cooking teacher or something like that at home. So I went to Le Cordon Bleu culinary schools, and also in Paris, La Varenne, which is in Bordeaux, and married a dentist.
Was this omiai?
Yes, it was a kind of omiai.
Okay, so it wasn't like anyone you knew.
Well, but we dated.
I know, but it was set up as an omiai.
It was a setup, yes.
Okay. How much older was he than you?
At the same age.
Same age?
Yes.
So how long were you married?
Well, I was married for about 7 years.
Okay. Right. But you did produce one beautiful child. Right?
Yes. So
you got that. So that's the best thing that came out of 7 years.
That was the reason that I had to marry him, and
That's
I had to go
right.
through this process to meet my son.
There you go.
So yes.
Right. So you got a beautiful son out of this. Wow. Because every time I see a picture of you two together, I see you're just glowing all the time. Whee! So happy.
Yes.
Let's see,
I
how
love
old is
him.
how old is your son now?
25 now.
25.
Mm.
Is he back in Japan? He's back here now,
He's
is
back
he?
here and
That's what I
he's
thought.
working for City Bank.
Okay.
Mm.
Wow, that's so nice.
Yeah.
So then after all of that, okay, after you had, because you've had some experiences for me. I love this. All right. So, first France and London, getting the pockets with things. All right. Then you get to Hakuhodo and the women won't treat you right. Okay, anyway, so was that at Hakuhodo where they wouldn't treat you well? Where the women wouldn't, you had to sit down everything?
Oh, yes, that
Okay.
was in Hakuhodo.
Okay, and then you get married, you stop, you learn how to prepare food for the finest hotels, beautiful menus every day. You get married to the dentist. He decides, okay, he thinks it's all about him because you prefer, you provide good food, you're looking good when he comes home, you've had his child. He said, I got it made. And he starts drinking and he says, you take care of everything. So he said, okay, 7 years, I'm done.
Right.
What'd you do after that?
I never thought that I would, divorce because I was a good housewife and a
Right, you
good
did
mom.
everything, right.
So I wasn't prepared for that I had to work, of course, because my mother said again, she goes like, oh, you take care of yourself.
And she put the thing in your pocket and said,
Yes, she goes like again, you do it yourself. I don't know. And so I started a company because I thought in Japan when you're like age of 40, it's very hard to, back then it was hard to get a job, and also there were not many places that I could have my son to keep me. There were not many. Now we have a lot of system, but back then there were not. And my mother said she's not going to take care of my son. So I thought the only way I could do is just to work on my own. So I started a company. And
what's the company name?
back then,
Oh, you changed. You
yeah,
have a different-
changed. Yes,
Okay.
I changed.
What's the name? But you're doing the same thing now, right? Kind of?
No. I started with back then. There was this tutoring, sports tutoring, which also thought that might work for my son because it's tutoring, right?
Right.
So sports kate kyoshi is what we called.
Mhm.
So it's not studying, but children have to learn how to catch balls or how to run. And it was very hard because to first get people to teach. I mean, starting from scratch, I had to go to universities like Nihon Taiku Daigaku,
Nitai
Dai, and post and
In those days, you could do that too.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
right, and get those students to be tutoring children, and then I had to ask, for children, would you like to try this? To talk to mom.
How long did you do that? How many years?
I think I did that for maybe 4 years or so, but then a sports club wanted to have the same system, so I sold the company. Sold the system. And then changed the company name to Crosswise, which is my company right now, and it's an agent again, like things that I used to do back then.
Like Hakuhodo,
yeah.
right?
Not really newspaper, but agent to do,
Right. You
whatever.
help anyone you can help any type of business find their partner or find a match or you get resources.
Yes,
whatever it may be.
resource, yes. So that is why I have to go to various places,
You have
talk
to,
to
or you
people.
get to go.
Yes,
You
I'm
choose to go.
enjoying. Yes, I'm enjoying.
No one's making you go. You decide to go. You say, I think I'll go and find out what that restaurant's doing.
Right,
Okay,
yes.
let's see what they're doing over there in that park. And you do, So you go with the places you want to go because you never look like you're sad. You always look happy.
Oh, yes, I'm enjoying every minute of talking to people. And,
And you still make an income doing it.
Right now, yes, I'm doing.
Yeah, it takes
Fine.
time to where you start saying. Did you ever do that without having an income at first? Like were you just doing, you're helping, connecting people?
Oh,
And they were
yes,
doing. They were doing.
first,
Yeah.
you know, you can't have income because I'm not good enough and to settle up business. So
No one knows you that way.
no one knew me that way. But I also had a little money from my my grandfather passed away, so a little bit of money. So I started property investments.
Okay.
And so I got rents, which was
Gotcha.
the income
That
because.
so you didn't have to now. Okay, I got it.
And then gradually I became very good at it. So I sold the small apartment and bought like several, and then so I'm really good at property investments now, which is basically
The income
without
source.
without that I don't think I could have earned the high tuition of the boarding schools out in the States, but that
That helped you.
helped me a lot.
And your timing was good too.
The yen to dollar was like 80 yen or so, 81 to 3 yen
Right.
or so. But then it gradually
Got
became
better.
higher and higher and
Yeah.
higher. And when it hit 100, mostly 110 yen, I thought maybe if this goes up higher and higher, I thought I could not be able to pay his tuition.
Of course.
So then I bought a unit in California, Los
That was your
Angeles.
first unit, first place? Okay.
Yes, in California, so that I could earn rent
Right.
in the States, which I would not have to care about the
The
rate
yen rate
anymore,
at all.
because you
That
earn
would-
money by dollars and you pay by dollars.
Dollars.
So
And that worked out well for you.
yes, so that worked out.
Okay. And then you continue, do you still maintain properties outside of Japan?
Well, I was planning to sell that before COVID because I finished tuition, but then COVID happened, and I
You gotta
just
hold on to it.
I'm holding on to it. So I'm going to restart this soon. So I
Right,
rent it
okay.
out again at a lower rate because of this COVID situation.
It's very interesting. That's really affecting a lot, everyone.
Yeah, I know. I
know.
didn't think that the COVID would hit me, but it did actually.
Yeah, it is. That's true. There's so many people have so many things out there. That's why you start learning. Never have it in one basket. You need to really diversify.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? What's your future like?
Because my son started to say when he was in junior project school that he wanted to learn more about tech, IT. And back then, IT, tech, really. Mom, I can do Google. I can do Google search or I can do emails, but that was it. And I wanted to know more what IT was about. So I invested a very tiny, small amount of money to an IT company, a startup company that was back then, 10 years ago. Crowd computing networking company was the very, very high-end tech company, and there were only like 4 in the world. So and getting through that, I was invited to a board meeting, and then when I sat there, there were like famous IT CEOs, directors. I was the only woman, and they were all specialists, and they were all famous people. And I was so surprised with my situation. But they taught me a lot, and I got this community of technology companies, and gradually I got to know what tech is about. And so now I'm basically do business matching for tech companies, because I have market and I have companies that looking for tech, and tech companies, they build us super great systems, but sometimes they don't know how to sell it. So
That's always a big issue. That's right.
so I'm enjoying that, and I think tech, knowing about tech,
Okay.
it's very
And so
exciting.
you have real estate under your belt. Also, I know you can do ads and stuff like that because you learned that from Hakuhodo. Now you have technology. You also know food because of your training. Cordon
Yes.
Bleu, you've learned how to do it. So you have connections there. What else?
What else?
Well, I know jazz. I know you have jazz clubs connections because you introduced me to the president of Blue Note.
Yes,
You tickled me so much. You thought I said I want to play on the stage someday. And when I came to you after you heard me play, because you took that video of me,
Yes.
I laughed so much when I saw that because I thought I was just it.
That was so cool.
But that was nice. So you have that connection. What other areas do you have a passion for?
Passion. Well, I like drinking actually. So
What kind? What whiskey, vodka?
I'm more
gin?
into wine, and
Okay.
of course I like sake as well for Japanese food. But so I'm doing advisory for a New Zealand winery. But the owner is Japanese, but and I'm enjoying that as well.
What about beer? Do you like beer?
Yes, I do like beer, but beer not
Many
not
local
like
beers.
just I like IPAs, but I'm just not really studying about it. But my son became he learned a lot about whiskey. He's been drinking wine with me, but he said he can't afford wine that I would be drinking especially when he was in college. I didn't give him much pocket money.
Oh, you treated him like your mother treated you.
Yes,
Okay,
so
right.
he didn't have much pocket money. So what he thought was, so he couldn't afford wine that he would be drinking at home. But then he thought a bottle of whiskey, he can just have one glass, every day, not like, but he didn't have to buy a whole bottle. When you open a bottle, you have to finish it. So now he's really became a specialist on single malt. He knows very much about it. So
that's nice.
That's also interesting. So now he's teaching me about whiskey.
Okay, so now you of course you're going to take interest of your son. So you're going to say, I'm looking at that. Okay, let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of your passions. What else? You have anything else?
Actually, I love art. For more than 10 years, I was trying to get involved with art business, which I couldn't, but finally I might be able to do a bit of art because I'm working for Fukui Prefecture right now, and I don't know if I can set it up. Actually, I have this first meeting this afternoon, but I'm asking a university that is teaching art, and I'm talking to the professors to have art. There's this local train in Fukui, but then in 2.5 years they would have Shinkansen from Tokyo, from Karuizawa to Fukui, so the access would be very good. But then the JR would abandon the local lines. But the local lines, the prefecture decided to keep it. So they wanted more people to come, and so this is when I am now thinking of having art in those little stations and through the railway, so that people.
It's more attractive.
Yes, attract people.
Okay.
Hope that would succeed. I'm trying that,
and that's the next 2 years. They're going to have the Shinkansen.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm also working for Fukui Prefecture right now, and I'm trying to connect tech there. The vice governor is interested in medical. So I'm also discussing this with an Israeli company because they have the very high-ended tech.
Isn't Shibuya supposed to be the Silicon Valley of Japan?
Shibuya?
Well,
there are many IT companies there.
Yeah,
but,
I thought they were trying to develop. I thought I heard that somewhere where they said they're trying to make Shibuya the center of high tech. Is that,
I don't think it has been.
It didn't happen. No.
Well, there are many tech companies there, but.
What about any other industries you're involved in? For example, machinery, automotive, boats, planes. Why? Because I can see a twinkle in your eye. You're thinking, I'm going to get into the boat. I'm getting the yachts.
I mean, friends are interested in yachts, so I just enjoy that. But I'm not basically a yacht person, but I enjoy the atmosphere of yachting. That's it. In anything, tech is everywhere. So.
That's for sure. Okay, what are your hobbies?
Hobbies. I sometimes play golf. I also ski. But I like cooking as well, of course.
What kind of food? French?
I learned French, but
Yes, you did.
but anything really.
Okay.
Yeah, quick and easy cooking is my profession.
What's-
Quick and easy.
Okay, quick and easy. Okay, quick and easy. Okay.
I
So you know how
learned
to make a good
culinary, but
right.
I know the basic, but
Quick and easy. Quick and
yeah.
easy. You're quick and easy. Gotcha. That's nice. Well, look. Anything you'd like to end with? Anything you'd like to end the podcast with?
I also did the tutoring of for children for
The sport.
gymnastics, sports
Okay,
and things,
right.
and I think it was good for my son. He was the captain of the track team in the States, and actually he's in the Hall of Fame because he did an undefeated season. He won all the matches in New England and won the final. From that, he learned that if he does his best on his studies, he can also succeed. It's the same. So it's good for kids to learn both. And I'm right now also interested in raising our second generation. I only have one son, but there's so many great children. I mean, they're not children anymore, but youngsters, and supporting youngsters is fun. And I'm just telling them I'm doing this all for free. But then when I retire, it's
Your turn.
Your turn.
That's
So
right.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm drinking with these people right now, so just send me a bottle.
Yeah.
So that I can toast with that. That was toasting from receiving drinks from these youngsters that are successful because you helped them when they were, doing startups or maybe starting their careers.
That's right.
So this is one thing that I also wanted to do with maybe here at Tokyo American Club as well. We have so many youngsters studying there, and they're looking for internship, and on the other side, the companies are looking for good interns as well. So it's becoming more international, and it would be a good experience if kids would learn Japanese from doing internship or working. And
That's a
and I
conversation to have, that's for sure. We need to talk about that.
yes, and I think you would be a great leader to do that. I learned a lot from you. I still learn from you.
No, we're learning from each other.
Bingo, then. Wow, great, yes.
Well, I want to thank you for your
Yes.
time today.
Thank you so
so
much.
much.
Yes,
Mama.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much. It was a pleasure. I want to thank all of you for watching this podcast. Make sure you press like, subscribe, and never forget, it's all on loan. Continue to reach for the stars, and you're too blessed to be stressed.